Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Play Parlay, and today we're going to talk about how Jameis Winston landed the role of the starting quarterback on a playoff caliber team after 5 years of mediocrity in Tampa Bay. But first, if you're a fan of sports and shows where guys sit around and talk about sports, then you come to the right place. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can catch me every time I drop. I upload multiple times a week. Let's get it. All right, so Jameis Winston, he's a big, talented guy, man. Has all the tools you would probably want in a quarterback. It's the reason why he was drafted #1 overall. And it was pretty much a given that he was going to be the starting quarterback over Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill got 4 games to start last year. And if Sean Payton didn't see enough in those 4 games, everybody was just kind of speculating that Jameis was already the starter. He had a great game in the preseason. And from there, it was pretty much a given fact. There's a lot of stuff to like about Jameis. The size, the arm. He's more of a pocket passer than a runner. 121 touchdowns to 88 interceptions over his first 5 years. That don't sound too bad. Sounds pretty good, actually. Not great, but pretty good. But you also got to factor in those 18 fumbles, so that makes it 121 touchdowns to 106 turnovers. That's really not that great. One of the big drawbacks about Jameis Winston for me, just watching him over the years, is he's not a leader. But the Saints are now in that position where they're hoping to vie for a playoff spot where their team leader isn't the quarterback. Jameis Winston is extremely immature, and he has a bit of a class clown personality, man. That's everybody know the famous "Eat the W" speech or whatever he gave, and he brought it back again last year when the Saints beat the Bucs during the regular season, and he's in the middle of the locker room, shucking and jiving and dancing and eating W's again. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but the Saints end up having to pay a fine for that because the video went viral and he's in the middle of the locker room in close quarters with other players with no mask on, acting a complete fool. I mean, it's funny, it's cool, but it's not franchise quarterback behavior. I don't mind my receiver being a goofball or a knucklehead and getting into trouble from time to time, or my linebacker, any other position. You know what I'm saying? Their personality off the field and on the field doesn't matter that much. But when you have to be a leader of 52 men, I mean, you look at Jameis' behavior and you're telling me that he can lead 52 men? I don't see it. I think there was definitely a big problem here in Tampa, even before the "Eat the W" speech. It just, he tried so hard to fill that leadership role because he is the quarterback. The biggest part about a leader is leading by example. And like I said, the best way to sum up Jameis' behavior is class clown behavior. He also has a history of making bad decisions on and off the field. And if you consistently make bad decisions off the field, I'm going to have a problem with that if you're going to be the franchise quarterback. I'm not going to trust you to make the right decisions. We can go all the way back to college. Obviously, he was a young kid, but I just don't know anybody in their right mind that's actively fighting a rape allegation that's going to jump up in the cafeteria and scream in front of hundreds of students. You know, the explicative that was popular on social media at the time, I'll try to clean it up, F her right in the private parts. That was, I don't know if y'all remember a couple years back, that was going viral. It was everywhere. And he's a young, goofy kid, and he did it. But just a lot of stuff that he does just makes you say he makes bad decisions off the field. The main reason why you guys should have optimism is because Sean Payton is basically the quarterback whisperer. Drew Brees was in the NFL for a handful of years before he came to the Saints. Sean Payton turned him into a Hall of Famer with that offense and that play calling and them being on the same wavelength. So we can only hope that Sean Payton could turn down on some of help Jameis cut down on some of the turnovers. But obviously everybody know about the infamous 33 touchdown, 30 interception year. But in the years that he played, 16 games, the interceptions always been pretty high. His rookie year, he had 15 interceptions, which isn't bad. The year after that, he had 18 interceptions, which is getting kind of high compared to 28 touchdowns. But that's, if you're on the playoff team, you're like, okay, that's pretty okay. I know Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, guys like that had similar numbers in years in which the team went to the playoffs. But I think his best year was probably the year where he was suspended again for making a bad decision off the field. He allegedly grabbed the Uber driver in the private parts. I don't know that the NFL ever factually proved that, but what they did prove was that he lied. He tried to use an earlier Uber trip as his excuse, as his reason why this woman is telling a lie, when all they did was, obviously, you could go on the app and look at the history of it and see that, yeah, you falsely represented which trip. He represented a trip with 3 other players One of them being, I believe, Ronald Darby, who was a cornerback for the Eagles at the time, who vouched for Jameis. Nothing happened in that ride. Well, that's a fact. But Jameis knows that's not the Uber ride that was in question. And it was also kind of fishy because Ronald Darby is the same guy from Florida State that vouched that Jameis Winston didn't do anything to that girl. It was all consensual because we was there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a litany of bad decisions that this kid has made off the field. But that being said, he's a big, talented kid. You know what I'm saying? He has a lot of good plays and a lot of bad plays. But one of the things that gives me pause about a lot of his good plays is if you go look at his good plays, his wild throws, not many quarterbacks in the league would even attempt that throw or can make that throw. It's just a bad play that worked out. If I throw 10 bad balls a game or 10 balls that I shouldn't throw each game, every now and then one of them will work out and it's going to create a highlight and people are going to be like, wow, how did he fit that ball in there? Because he tries all the time and eventually he's going to hit. I think every single year he's played, he's went on a 3 to 4 game stretch where he looked like he turned the corner, he cleaned it up, he's going to cut the interceptions off. Just to come back a few weeks later and do it all over again. I think one of the telling things in that 30 interception year was teams sort of figured out Jameis, and if they had the personnel, they took advantage of him. The one that comes to mind is the very last game where he got 4 interceptions to help him get the 30 picks. Was the Texans kind of knew that he was going to throw them the ball. And it's not just random. What defenses figured out was if you show Jameis a look pre-snap and then you audible out of that look, you can audible out of the look anytime. You could do it post-snap. You could do it right before the snap. Jameis is still going to go with his initial read. He's going to say hike and he's going to throw the ball where the initial read told him to go. The Texans players were expecting and ready for him to throw them the football because they had saw on film if you give Jameis one look and then switch to another look, he's not going to go away from his initial read. That's why when you look at a lot of his interceptions, you're like, what are you looking at? You hit the guy right between the numbers because his initial read said that was going to be the weakness in the defense. So I don't know if he cleaned that up. Obviously, teams are going to still try to switch looks up on him. But the thing about being with the offensive guru like Sean Payton, maybe he can cover that up. You see what happened with the Los Angeles Rams. According to the Los Angeles Rams, Jared Goff ain't that good. It was the system. They traded a guy away who was just in the Super Bowl for a guy who's never even won a playoff game. So that says a lot about offensive systems and how they can help a quarterback. I don't know. I wish the best to Jameis. Saints fans, y'all should be optimistic, but don't get your hopes too high because you really don't know what you're getting in this guy. Hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.